Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be listening to the third part of What If Deku Became a Cyborg. Massive thanks to the author, Master Mage 965, for letting me make this audiobook. If you enjoy, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing down below, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified when videos go live. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Chapter 13, Brainwash. Present Mike starts his announcement. Welcome back everyone, I hope you've all been waiting for this last event as much as I have. The 1v1 tournament, for all those who passed through the previous rounds. Let's get to it. I hear cheering, so I look back and see not only are the cheerleaders from outside the country in uniforms, but also the girls from my class, and they're all cheering together. The crowd then burst out laughing while I blush immensely. I shake my head to clear my thoughts. I walk up to Ashido and ask, what are you doing? Ashido tilts her head. What do you mean? We were told that all the girls were supposed to be in cheerleading uniforms for some contest. I raise an eyebrow. What contest? Yayorozu walks up. There was supposed to be a contest for the girls, Kaminari and Mineta told us. We all look at Mineta and Kaminari, who are whispering to each other. Kaminari smirks. The plan worked. Mineta smirks as well. Yeah, now we get to see the girls in sweet skirts. The girls of 1A all walk up to them together and glare at the two. Oh yeah, is that what this was? The two stiffen and look at them. Ashido then says, cracking her knuckles, well, how about we get some payback? The two get pummeled for a bit, but Kaminari is mercied since he's in the 1v1 event. After that show of hell, we all gather up in front of the stage where Midnight stands. She starts off her speech. Well, now with that taken care of, let's move on to the tour name dash. Ajiro then raises his hand and says, sorry, but I'm withdrawing. We all turn to him in surprise as he continues, I don't remember anything from the last event, it's like I didn't do anything. I frown, what? But Ajiro, can't you just prove yourself in the tournament? He shakes his head, you don't understand, I'm talking about my pride here. Also, why are all the girls in cheerleading outfits? They all look away, a little embarrassed. Then someone from 1B raises a hand and says, I'm resigning for the same reason, I can't remember anything during the cavalry battle. Present Mike announces, well, this is a turn of events. What will Midnight say? Midnight stands there in thought before saying, that kind of talk is very naive, my boys. She cracks her whip, it turns me on. Ajiro, Shota, you're withdrawn. I stare at Midnight deadpan. Did she just say it turns her on? Midnight called them away as she called up two more to take their place. A student, who I've heard has a very similar quirk to Kirishima, and a girl with green plant vines for hair. After that was done, Midnight started again, so this is how it's going to work. Half of you will be drawing lots to determine who they will be fighting. Once the pairings are made, they will show up on the screen. Everyone got that? Good. Let's begin. 8 people walked up one by one and drew their lots that will determine their opponents, and when everyone was done drawing, the screen behind Midnight turned on and showed the order. I looked it over and saw my fight was first. Hitachi Shinsu, isn't that the guy that dash? Izuku Midoriya, that's you right. I jumped and looked back, seeing a purple-haired man with dark bags under his eyes. Hitachi Shinsu, he was watching me with observing eyes. This guy was studying me. He then asked, are you ready for the fight? It took me a second to respond, but I eventually did. Yeah dash. My mouth was immediately covered as Ajiro said, not so fast. Shinsu smirks and walks away with his hands in his pockets. After a second or two, Ajiro removes his tail. I turn around and ask, what was that, Ajiro? He gives me an intense look as he says, you can't say a word to him. Present Mike then says, alright everyone, as much as you want to see this play out, we have a few games to hype you up in the meantime, let's go. Ajiro then says, I'll explain everything, follow me. I nod and walk with him. I then hear Ashido yell out, Midoriya. I stop and look back. She smiles, are you going to join in? I smile, sorry, but I'm going to hype myself up for the tournament in the waiting room, but you have fun. I turn back around and follow Ajiro out of the main stage and into the halls. After a while we finally find a waiting room and walk inside. We sit down and I ask, I take it this is to explain Shinsu's quirk. He nods, yeah, and trust me, in this kind of environment, It's very dangerous. I lean on the table and clasp my hands together. How dangerous? Ajiro looks down in contemplation, then says, if he gets the chance to use it just once in every match, he might just win every single one, hands down. My eyes go wide. Are you kidding? Well, what is it? He replies, I don't know its name. He never said it, but I think I know what it does. Nothing happened to me until I answered a question. I immediately lost who I was, and my body obeyed his every command, like I was his personal puppet. I look at him. So that's what you meant. He can control anyone who replies to a question he asks. That is one insane power. Ajiro nods, agreed, but it's not impossible. I raise an eyebrow. What do you mean? He puts a hand to his chin. The whole time during the cavalry battle I don't remember anything, except for one moment. I think we were running past a team that we had stolen a headband from, but as we were, I must have bumped into one of them and it snapped me out of it. I was me again. I rub my chin, so, it only works if he can get his target to reply, and can last as long as he wants it to, but if there's ever a strong enough jolt to the subject's nervous system, they're snapped out like pain waking up someone who's sleeping. We stand up as I say, thank you Ajiro, this helps a lot. He smiles, no problem, just do me a favor. He raises a fist to me, take this guy down for me, alright. I smile as I fist bump him, you got it? He nods, I'll get out of your hair, let you get ready. He walks to the door and opens it, good luck. And leaves. I watch the door for a few seconds before slumping down into my chair and sighing, this is going to be a long day. If I make it to the end, I'm going to face Kikin. This is going to be a painful sports festival. Time skip. I'm waiting in the entrance to the arena that's being set up by Cementas as I look at my right arm. I hope you're ready enough for this, because I need to win, I have to. I then hear footsteps behind me as All Might calls out, young Midoriya. I turn around and see him waving, All Might. He smiles, you've been amazing out there, how have you been holding up? I take a deep breath, good I guess, just really nervous about the tournament. This is the sports festival we're talking about, a lot of people are going to be tough to beat. He laughs, you're not wrong there, but do remember, you made it this far too, you're just as strong if not stronger, remember that? I reply, right. I smile, right. All Might crosses his arms, now, I've been meaning to ask you, how's your arm doing? You mentioned it was sore a while ago, didn't know you could feel pain through those things. I chuckle, yeah, I can, but only under special circumstances, but it's fine now, don't worry. I also have a surprise for you and Uncle Zawa. I smirk. All Might raises an eyebrow, oh, that is. I cross my arms, sorry, you're going to have to wait like everyone else. He snaps his finger, ah, darn. We laugh for a second before I say, anyway, thanks for your concern, but I've got a tournament to win. I smirk. He nods, alright alright. He bulks up to his hero form, good luck. I turn around and walk away, with my smile fading, I'm not the one who needs it. Present Mike starts announcing, alright, is everyone ready for the first match of the first round? The audience cheers in excitement while Present Mike continues, great well, let's get this show on the road, shall we? On one end we have a cyborg with power and speed, from the hero course of 1A, Izuku Midoriya. I walk out of the tunnel and towards the arena, here we go. Present Mike announces my opponent, and in the other end we have a walking zombie of shadows, from General Studies, Hitachi Shinsu. He walks out as well with a scowl on his face, I don't like this guy. Present Mike continues, in this tournament there are 3 ways to win the match. You can knock them out in combat. Force them out of the ring. Or 3. Make them cry uncle. Ready? Shinsu watches me, so, you can forfeit, huh? I raise an eyebrow in question while I get my right foot back and lean forward. 3. Shinsu scowls at me again while I narrow my eyes. 2. Shinsu keeps staring at me, without even trying to take up a stance. 1. I then bring my left foot forward, remember Izuku, don't reply to what he says, it's a trap. Begin. I don't move and just watch him, don't rush it, he's smart, let him go on for a bit. Shinsu then starts talking, that monkey was going on about his pride earlier, but I think he was just an idiot for throwing away his chance like that. My eye twitches, don't. Say anything. He keeps talking, still not moving. If you want to make your future a reality, you can't worry about what other might think. I grit my teeth, this guy definitely know what he's doing. Again, he keeps going, he was a fool, from the looks of it, a lot of people are these days, moving on in life with no worries cause of their quirks. It pays off to be gifted, like you for instance. I raise an eyebrow, like me. Shinsu explain, you plowed through everyone with ease, how does it feel to be better than everyone else? I grit my teeth, he's getting to me, I can't wait anymore. I then start walking towards him. He takes a step back, what, think you're too good to say anything, you think you're so superior to me to not even bother responding. I look down as I start running, I know that feeling. He starts backing up more, back off, I'm warning you. I ignore him, the feeling of helplessness. He stops backing away and readies a punch, say something. I get low to the ground, that you can't do anything. Shinsu yells, get away from me. And throws a right cross. I sidestep to the left as his cross swings over me, that you won't succeed. I then pivot and grab the collar of the back of his shirt with my left hand. His eyes go wide as I pivot again, causing our backs to hit each other, my left hand going over my left shoulder, but that doesn't matter, because you didn't try hard enough. He grits his teeth, let go of dash. I then pull with all my might, sending him over my shoulder, otherwise. I throw him down and slam him into the ground, out of bounds, this would have been a different story. I'm panting slightly as I take a step back in the silence, as I watch Shinsu just stay there face first in the ground. I then say, that's a wrap. Midnight then announces with the crack of her whip, Hitachi Shinsu is out of bounds, Izuku Midoriya wins. The audience cheers and present Mike says, now that is an opening match, right Erasure? Uncle Zawa replies, I suppose. Shinsu flips himself over and groans, rubbing his head, I lend him a hand, sorry about the shoulder throw, are you alright? He stares at my hand for a few seconds, then takes it, yeah. I pull him up, that's good. He stares at the ground, I then say, hey, I have a question. He doesn't look up, yet. I ask, why do you want to be a hero? He stares down before replying, you can't help what your heart wants. He then starts walking away. I frown as I watch him begin to leave, he definitely didn't take that loss well, about I do. Hey Shinsu. He stops and looks back, I then say, start some big training alright? I'd like a real match with you, a rematch, okay. His eyes widen, then he looks smiles, heh, you're on Midoriya. And walks away. I smile and walk away as well, with Midnight gushing over it saying, AHH, the chivalry, I love it. I sigh, god damn it. Time skip. I finally arrive to the stands my class are in and wave, hey guys. Ashido smiles and waves back, Midoriya, that was awesome. You've got to teach me how to do that, it was so cool. Yayorosa nods, you did quite well. Tokoyami nods, indeed. Shaoji nods as well, they already took the words right out of my mouth. I smile, thanks. Ajiro gives me a thumbs up and I nod, and take a seat next to Ashido and Shaoji. Ashido then speaks up again and says, seriously though, you've got to teach me that. I chuckle, maybe one day, but let's focus on the coming matches, okay. She crosses her arms and rolls her eyes, fine. Preset Mike then announces, okay, now that we're ready, let's announce the second match. On one end we've got the perfect mix of fire and ice, from the hero course of 1A, Shoto Todoroki. He walks up facing the ground, his eyes obscured by his hair, it catches my attention obviously, huh. Present Mike introduces the other, on the other end we've got the man with some freaky looking elbows, also form the hero course of 1A, Hanta Siro. He walks up as he stretches, talking to himself, Present Mike then finishes it off, you already know the rules, so let's get started. 3, 2, 1. Begin. Siro then sends out tape to wrap up Todoroki then starts pulling him towards the side of the stadium, but Todoroki doesn't do anything. Siro, in his cockiness, says, see ya later. Todoroki then looks up and glares at Siro, which sends a shiver down my spine just before he says, apologies. And sends a massive wave of ice towards Siro, which also stops him from leaving the arena and causes nearly half the stadium to be covered in ice. Siro, who's stuck in the ice, says, "Don't you think you went a little overboard?" Midnight had half her body covered in ice, asks, "Zero? Tell the truth, can you move at all?" Zero replies, "Are you kidding? Obviously not, I'm freezing." Midnight then announces, Hanta Zero is immobilized, Shoto Todoroki wins. Todoroki breaks out of the frozen tape that he was in, then walks up to Zero, "Sorry, that was a bit much." He then put his left hand on the ice that trapped Zero and activated his fire to melt away the ice. "I was just angry is all." I watched Todoroki intently as he melted the ice away. Angry? Why was he angry, and why does he look so sad? I narrow my eyes as I frown. "Todoroki, what have you been through?" Chapter 14, Melting Lasers and Dark Force. Time skip, Ashido's match. Text is scrolling past my prose. As I start muttering to myself, Ashido vs Aoyama, this could be an interesting matchup. Aoyama is good with range while Ashido is good with close combat, but then there's Aoyama's weakness with using his quirk in short bursts. I start reviewing previous footage of Ashido's feats, while in Ashido's case, it may be different since her quirk can be used in several different ways. It's very versatile, as is she. I continue to evaluate, but getting past Aoyama's quirk will be tricky with no cover. She'll have to evade, but can she last long enough to win the match? Maybe if she can dash. A hand is placed on my shoulder as Xiaoji says, "Midoriya." I snap out of my trance and look to my left. Sorry about that." Was I muttering? Xiaoji nodded. "Yes, is everything alright?" I smile. "Yeah, I'm fine, just thinking about how Ashido will win against Aoyama. She's skilled, fast, and has incredible reflexes, but fighting against a quirk like Aoyama's is going to be tricky, especially with no cover. I just hope she can come up with a plan to take him down before he see a dash." "Midoriya," Xiaoji says as he shakes my shoulder a bit. I jolt then look down. "I did it again, didn't I?" Xiaoji nods. "Yeah." I sigh, "Sorry." He shakes his head. "No need for apologies, you're just worried for your friend, I get it. Just sometimes you need to relax and just hope for the best. You can't plan ahead for everything, just hoping for a scenario is enough to work in the end." Tokoyami then adds, "Agreed, don't plan too many battles ahead, focus on the now." I smile and nod. "Right, let's just watch the fight and hope for the best." I look back down to the arena and think to myself, be careful Ashido. Present Mike then starts announcing the coming match. Alright? Is everybody ready for match 5? The crowd cheers in excitement and Present Mike replies, "Awesome, let's get this match started then." On one end we've got a pink alien with some serious acid power, Mina Ashido from the 1A hero course. She walks up to the arena with a wide smile on her face, then Present Mike continues, and on the other end we've got a shining fame addict, from the hero course of 1A, Yuiga Aoyama. He starts to walk up to the arena with a confident smile on his face. Ashido then speaks up, "Sorry Aoyama, but you're going down." Aoyama leans forward, "You'll be eating those words soon Madam Muesli." Mineta then yells behind me, "Go Aoyama, fight like you're in one of those video games where all the clothes get beaten off." My eye twitches as Jiro says, "Pervert." Present Mike then starts, "Now get ready." Ashido gets low to the ground, like a runner position as Aoyama puts his hands behind his head. Present Mike starts the countdown, 3, 2, 1. Ashido leans to the left a bit just before Present Mike says, "Begin." Aoyama fires off a laser, "Take this." Ashido reacts quickly and dashes to the right and starts skating across her acid that leaves the solace of her feet, causing Aoyama to miss his shot. Ashido then laughs, "Bad aim, try again." She taunts. Aoyama replies with another shot, "You got it?" She slides under it, missed again. Aoyama grunts and fires another, just for Ashido to jump over it, "Whoo!" and skate away. "I can do this all day, but you on the other hand cannot. I know your weakness, you told the whole class, remember?" She smiles. This continues for a while, Aoyama firing off lasers while Ashido jumps, ducks, slides, and pivots around them. It was impressive, and my classmates agreed. "Whoa, look at her go." Ajiro said with an impressed expression. Hagakure agrees, "Yeah, look at that dodging." Kirihime smiles, "She's so manly, I mean, womanly." I nod, Yeah. I keep watching as Ashido limbos under another laser which she flows into a front flipping over another laser. Look at her, she's dodging everything. To be able to do that you need a near perfect understanding of your body and have incredible awareness of its shape and condition, as well as what it's doing. She backflips over another laser. I mutter, God, you're amazing. Xiaoji then asks, what was that? I jump, and nothing. He stares at me for a second before looking away. Okay. I sigh in relief, thank go dash. Aoyama then yells, get ready for a big one. He then fires off another laser. Whoa. Ashido exclaims before dodging under it. She skates away but it follows her. She notices and jumps over it as it passes under her, disappearing shortly after as Aoyama says, ow, my tummy. Ashido smiles and splashes acid onto Aoyama's belt. Aoyama looks down, ah, now my beautiful belt. His pants then fall as he struggles to keep them up. Ashido then skates over to him then performs a strong uppercut, sending him to the ground, unconscious. Midnight cracks her whip, Yuiga Aoyama is defeated, Mina Ashido wins. She starts jumping in place as I begin to zone out as words scroll over my eye. I did not expect that. I seriously underestimated Mina's acrobatic capability. To dodge all those attacks so easily must take a huge amount of focus. Aoyama just couldn't keep up with her endurance and speed. But how far can she go with that dodging skill of hers? There are so many people in this tournament who could keep up. She could be in danger if she relies on it too much. She needs better ideas than just dodging, but what can she dash? Are you doubting me? I jump and let out a small yelp. Oh my god Ashido, you scared me. I say as I put a hand to my chest. She laughs, sorry, but you were distracted, I couldn't help myself. I look down, alright. I look up then face her, wait, did you dash? She looks off to the side, oh yeah, I saw you were zoned out, staring off into space while I was down there. She says as she points down to the arena, then she leans towards me with a large grin on her face, were you fantasizing about me? I blush beet red as I yell, W what? And no, I was recording the B battle in my notes. I tap my left eye, and nothing else, I swear. She raises an eyebrow, even after the battle was over. I blush more as I lean away, I. Anyway. I look to Xiaoji, what's the next match Xiaoji? Ashido shakes her head with smile on her face as she sits beside me. Xiaoji replies, the next match should be between Tokoyami and Yayorozu. I furrow my eyebrows, then shouldn't they be in the waiting RO dash I look back and see they're both gone, oh. Ashido raises an eyebrow, too distracted recording my fight, huh. My blush comes back as I groan and shrink in my seat. Ashido laughs in response and says, you're too easy Midoriya. She pats my back in reassurance, calm down, I'm teasing you. I grumble, I hate you. She smiles, I care for you too. I was about to say something when Kaken says, get a room extras. I look down in embarrassment as Jiro says, leave them alone Bakugu, you're not helping your popularity with your bedside manner or attitude. I cover my mouth as Ashido holds in a laugh. Kaken lets out small explosions as he glares at Jiro, you wanna go? Kaminari tries to calm him down, quiet, they're starting the next match. Kaken glares at him, oh shut up. Kaminari recoils in response. Present mic then sounds through the speakers. On one end we have a literal savant in creation, from the 1A hero course, Momo Yayorozu. She begins to walk out onto the arena with a determined expression as Present Mike announces the other, and on the other end we have a man of shadow and darkness, also from the 1A hero course, Fumikage Tokoyami. He walks out onto the arena as well. They both wait at the ends of the arena as Present Mike readies the countdown, now get ready. Yayorozu narrows her eyes as Present Mike counts down, 3. I narrow my eyes, she's planning too much. 2. Ashido turns to me, what do you mean? 1. I cross my arms, just watch. Begin. Yayorozu's eyes widen as she hears the start of the match. Tokoyami is quick to act as he takes his hands out of his pockets and yells, Dark Shadow. His summon leaves his chest and says, I've got her. Yayorozu brings up an arm and a shield appears just in time to take the hit from Dark Shadow. She brings her free hand out to the side and glows but stops when Dark Shadow turns back and hits her shield again. Yayorozu watches Dark Shadow in a panic as it turns back around and hits her shield again, sliding her back a fair bit. I sigh as she raises her shield back up again. She hasn't noticed. Tokoyami recalls Dark Shadow as Yaoyorozu looks at him confused. She shakes her head and uses her quirk to make a bow staff, but Midnight immediately calls the match with a crack of her whip. Momo Yaoyorozu is out of bounds. Fumikage Tokoyami wins the match. Yaoyorozu looks surprised and looks to the ground, just now realizing she's past the arena line. Tokoyami bows his head and leaves as Yaoyorozu looks upset with herself, then leaves. I take a deep breath. Yaoyorozu takes too much time to think up a plan, and doesn't trust her own instincts, not to mention the fact that she trusts her quirk too much. That's what made her lose this match. If she had acted faster and focused less on making a plan, it wouldn't have been so one-sided, but still, that's gotta hurt. Losing like that, to anyone else it would look like he didn't take her seriously, but we all know what really happened. Ashido nods. Yeah, he didn't want to hurt her. Xiaoji crosses his arms. He takes great pride in caring for his friends and classmates. He would lose then try to hurt them. I look at the tournament board and see the next matches coming up. Now with that match over, we have 2 more to watch. I look back to Kirishima. Right, Kirishima. He tilts his head. Huh. His eyes widen as he shoots up from his seat. Oh no, my match. He then runs off as the 3 of us laugh. Ashido then says as she shakes her head, oh Kirishima. I take a deep breath to compose myself as Xiaoji says, not the brightest huh. Ashido shrugs, nope, but he does make up for it with his big heart. I smile, yeah, I guess you're right. Present Mike then speaks up, now that we're ready for the next match, let's announce it, shall we? The audience cheers as Present Mike follows through. Alright then, let's begin. On one end we have a man with a fiery heart made of steel, from the other hero course 1B, Tetsu. The man with a light yellow mask over his eyes and grey spiky hair walks out onto the arena as he grits his teeth. Present Mike then announces the other. Then on the other end we have a man with a fiery heart made of rock, from the 1A hero course, Eijiro Kirishima. Kirishima walks out onto the arena as he cracks his knuckles, seeming a little disappointed. Present Mike then readies the countdown. Now that we're all set, let's start the counting down. 3, 2, 1, begin. Chapter 15, Willpower and Living Dynamite. Tetsu roars out a battle cry as he runs at Kirishima, while Kirishima himself does the same. Ashido then says, I'm kinda interested in how this match could end. I turn to her and ask, oh, why's that? She looks at me, I mean, look at them. Motioning a hand towards the fight as they both activate their quirks, the 1B hero student becoming steel while Kirishima's skin hardens, they both reach each other and throw a punch, their fists colliding into each other. Ashido continues, they're like the exact same person, it's going to be hard to find a winner in this fight. I nod, yeah, they both have a body hardening quirk, and from the looks of it, they also have similar personalities. The 2 fighters throw a right hook at each other, which they both catch from their opponent and start pushing each other, trying to throw the other down. I watch closely, so the only real test to seeing who is the strongest, is through sheer willpower to keep fighting, whoever has more will win. Ashido then groans, then this is going to be a long fight, punch to punch, kick to kick, they're just going to match each other until the other is down, and Kirishima doesn't give up easy. Kirishima throws a right cross through Tetsu's face, the receiving student glares at Kirishima, is that all? I thought you were tough. He throws a right cross through Kirishima's face, the redhead glares back and readies a punch, funny, I heard the same thing about you. I sigh, yeah, and something tells me that Tetsu doesn't give up easy either. Ashido shakes her head, this fight will never end, will it? I narrow my eyes, I wouldn't so sure. Kirishima performs an uppercut to Tetsu as said student predicted poorly trying to block with crossed arms. Kirishima holds his left arm with his right trying to block an attack but Tetsu punches through it, hitting him across the face. The 2 trade blows with crosses, hooks, sucker punches, uppercuts, you name it. Ashido looks at me, what do you mean? I narrow my eyes and see Tetsu's steel crack while flakes of hardened skin breaks off from Kirishima. I then say, they're hitting a limit, they're not going to last much lunge dash. They then hit each other with a solid right cross, knocking each other out cold. There's dead silence throughout the entire stadium as everyone watches the 2 knocked out students with very similar personalities and quirks. I then say without skipping a beat, like I said, I think they're done. Ashido snickers a bit before breaking out into hysterics. I slowly join her as Xiaoji chuckles under his breath, Midnight calls the match. Tetsu and Ajiro Hima are both knocked out. We'll revisit this matchup after they've recovered, possibly over arm wrestling. I'm chuckling a little as I try to stop laughing. Welp. I think it's time for the hardcore fight. Ashido agrees. Yeah, Okako Yurarika vs Katsuki Bakugo, this will be brutal. I take a deep breath. Yeah, let's hope for the best, I guess. Ashido nods with a hum. Robots with stretchers take Kirihime and Tetsu away to the medical center as Present Mike announces again, now for the final match for the first round of the tournament. Katsuki Bakugo vs Okako Yurarika. One is a bombing legend while the other is a master over gravity. The two of them walk up onto the arena staring each other down, then Kaken speaks up, alright, this is what's going to happen, pink cheeks. Yurarika looks offended as she repeats, pink cheeks. Kaken continues, if you don't want to get hurt, go ahead and quit now. Present Mike readies the countdown, let's begin the countdown. 3. Yurarika refocuses herself, I can't afford to do that. 2. Kaken just glares at her in silence. 1. Kaken then takes his hands out of his pockets as he says, then you die. Begin. Yurarika immediately breaks into a sprint towards Kaken as he pulls his right arm back. Yurarika gets low to the ground just as Kaken throws an explosion towards Yurarika, hitting her directly and covering a small area in smoke. Ashido shiver, she got hit. I grit my teeth, how is this already stressful? The match just started. Kaminari replies, this is Bakugo we're talking about, he's stressful to just be around. Jiro nods, yeah, he's not exactly fun company. Kaken looks around and yells, come on pink cheeks, don't cower now. Face me. He notices something and throws an explosion at something, the smoke clear enough for me to see he attacked Yurarika's gym shirt, only for her to appear behind Kaken with a hand at the ready, slowly making its way to him. He notices her however and blasts her away with an explosion, she yells out in pain, and I wince, ouch. Ashido looks worried as she says, this is not good, look at that reaction time, he's so quick to act, how can you get the jump on him? Xiaoji nods, indeed, he is a force to be reckoned with. I sigh, let's just hope Yurarika has a plan. Xiaoji and Ashido nod, yeah, let's hope. Throughout the fight, it just looks worse and worse. Yurarika tries to get in close, gets blasted away, then runs right back in just to be blasted away again. However, this brutal defense made by Bakugo seems to upset many people in the crowd, including pros. They start to boo and berate him with insults for his brutality. Listen kid, if you want to be a pro, stop being a bully, stop toying with the girl and end this match. Yeah, end it already. Present Mike then brings some attention to the booing pros and says, it sounds like there's a group of pros who are booing Bakugo. He then starts nodding, and I kinda agree with what they're say I dash. Uncle Zawa then punches Present Mike across the face and takes the mic, while the attacked host yells out, ow. Hey, what the hell man? Uncle Zawa ignores him and says, to the man who started this uproar, are you a pro? Everyone looks at the announcing booth while I continue to watch the fight, listening intently to what Uncle Zawa is saying, because if you're being serious, I suggest hanging up your cape, and looking into another career. Bakugo knows how talented Yurarika is, he knows she belongs here, so he's doing everything he can to ensure Sha can't win. The two are just staring each other down, panting, when Yurarika says, thank you Bakugo. Kaken raises an eyebrow as she brings her hands up, for keeping your attention on me. I narrow my eyes, huh? What is she dash? She then screams her lungs out as she brings her fingers together, causing several rocks and debris from the broken arena to fall from the sky. My eyes widen in surprise from the sudden action. Present Mike calls out in surprise, a meteor shower. Uncle Zawa then says tiredly, now you notice. Yurarika then runs towards Kaken as he watches the sky, he then slowly brings up arm and takes a deep breath. My eyes widen as sparks rise from his shoulder to his hand, I then yell, get down. As I grab Ashido and pull her towards Xiaoji as I call up my shield. I hear Yurarika yell as Kaken lets out a large explosion, air is thrown everywhere as my shield tanks most of the force to protect Ashido and Xiaoji. Eventually the air calmed down and I lower my shield as I look down to the arena. Yurarika is on her stomach as she looks at Kaken, who speaks up, you thought that would work? You're even dumber than that freak show. Her eyes widen in shock, he stopped it? I sigh, she lost. Ashido looks to the arena, oh my god. Mineta then says, he stopped the whole attack, no way. Eureka says something but I couldn't hear it with how quiet she was. Kiken then lowers his hand as he takes a deep breath. I then notice shaking a bit and I narrow my eyes. Eureka slowly gets up and looks at Kiken. He readies himself for a fight with his hands out, but when Eureka tries to run, she immediately trips and collapses to the ground. I sigh as she struggles to even move a muscle. Midnight approaches her and puts up a hand to halt Kiken from advancing. She shakes her head before announcing, Okako Eureka is unable to continue, Katsuki Bakugo wins. I frown, poor Eureka, she tried so hard but, in the end. Ashido finishes my train of though, she couldn't win against Bakugo, he was just too good. Present Mike announces, well then, I guess Katsuki Bakugo is moving on to the next set of matches. I think we all deserve a small break from that depressing outcome. Uncle Zawa says, you're supposed to be impartial, idiot. I look at the board, the next set, I'm up against Todoroki next. I stand up from my seat, I got to get ready, wish me luck. Ashido giggles, good luck Midoriya. I smile, see you in a bit. I then walk away and head to my waiting room. Get ready Todoroki, if you try hard enough, you might get to experience my new move. Chapter 16, Climate Change. I'm sitting in my waiting room as I wait to be called up for my next match. Todoroki, what's wrong, why were you so upset? I think back to Todoroki's and Siro's fight and how fast he took him down. What happened to make you so upset? Uncle Zawa then sounds through the speakers of the waiting room, can Izuku Midoriya and Shoto Todoroki make your way to the arena? I take a deep breath, guess it's time. I then stand up and leave the room, heading towards the arena. Along the way I hear Present Mike announcing the match, are you all ready for the first match of the second round? I hear muffled cheering from the crowds as I approach the arena entrance. Present Mike continues, alright, let's get this show on the road then. On one end we have an amazing strategist with a quirk to back it up, from 1A's hero course, Izuku Midoriya. I walk out onto the arena and focus myself, get ready, this is big. Present Mike then introduces my opponent, and on the other end, we have a mix of hot and cold, also from 1A's hero course, Shoto Todoroki. He walks out onto the arena and stares me down with a very serious expression, okay then, let's see what you can do. Present Mike then readies the audience, now that both our contenders have been announced and present, we'll begin in 3. Todoroki bends his knees. 2. I pivot my left leg back and keep my right arm between me and Todoroki. 1. The air seems to cool significantly as I bend my knees. Begin. A wave of ice is immediately sent my way. I react quickly and bring up my right arm as I bring out my shield. The ice makes contact and misty cold air spreads around my side of the arena. I take a deep breath before slamming my shield into the ice in front of me, causing it to shatter and push away the misty air. I look up and see Todoroki take a step back with weary eyes. I smirk, is that all you got? I thought you were the number 2 hero's son. His eye twitches so I taunt him some more, I know you have more in you than that, show me it? Todoroki replies, don't tell me what to do. He then sends out more ice my way. I block the ice wave before bashing it away with the stored energy, that won't work. Try something else. I equip the shield to my other arm before flying up into the air with burn orange. Todoroki sends ice up at me but I spin around it before diving in, his eyes widen slightly before he jumps back. I was a little too slow and I throw a left hook into the ground where he last stood, absorbing some energy from the impact. I send out my grapple towards Todoroki, but he throws his hand up and makes an ice wall with the grapple inside, that won't work. I smirk, wasn't meant to. I then pull myself in by recalling my hand, then throw a burn orange thruster kick, breaking the ice. Todoroki acts quickly and slides away on ice. I also notice that small frost building up on his right side, but I ignore it and quickly act and chase him with my thrusters. Todoroki sends ice my way, but I barrel through it using my shield as a battering ram, absorbing more energy. I then boost the burn in my right leg and kick Todoroki across the face. I then grab his shirt and use the thrusters in my arm to throw him away towards the edge of the arena, but he stops himself by making an ice wall to catch him in time. My feet hit the ground as I say, you know this isn't working Todoroki, stop limiting yourself and fight me seriously. He stares me down, no, I won't use my left side. I grit my teeth and even growl a little, that you'll lose. He scoffs before sending more ice my way. but I use the thrusters in my solace and arm to glide out of the way. I then disengage my soul thrusters, then when my feet hit the ground, I immediately burn through my back and calves to dash towards Todoroki. He jumps to the right to dodge. I then throw a right cross and boost the burn in my arm to spin and punch Todoroki before slamming myself into the ice wall. As he get knocked back, he freezes part of my shield. Before Todoroki fully gets up, he sends another ice wave towards me. I use my shield to block it before thruster kicking the ice apart. I then notice the frost on him starting to grow as most of his arm is in ice. I yell, "You're getting repetitive." Todoroki yells back, "Shut up," before sending more ice my way. I fly up then dive down to him with a right hook. He pivots out of the way and throws a punch right into my shield, breaking some of the ice. "Don't stop." I then reach over and grab his left arm with my right and fly over and behind him, before throwing him away with my momentum and using my thrusters in my arm. He makes an ice wall to catch him, but he crashes through it and tumbles. He slowly gets up as he says, "You're holding back, your shield is glowing with energy, and you're not using it. Why?" I stand upright and say, "The same reason you're holding back. I think I can win without my full strength." He grits his teeth, "That's different." I tilt my head, "How?" "You're holding back because you think you can win with only half your strength, and yet I'm proving to you that you can't win this fight, yet you still hold back." I looks down as he balls his fists. "I won't become him." My eyes twitches as I yell, "Who?" "Your dad, Endeavor. Using your fire doesn't make you him." He grits his teeth, "Shut up." I start walking towards him, "So stop holding back, and fight me." He looks up and yells, "I'm not using his dash." I yell louder, "It's yours, your quirk not his." His eyes widen as he takes a step back, not moving. The ice on him begins to grow even fast but no attack comes. I grit my teeth and growl as I run at him. He then starts talking in a low voice, "No, it's his. I got it from him." I then yell, "Then why is it a part of you?" I bash my shield into his chest and send him flying away, breaking the ice on it. Todoroki tumbles back a fair bit, stopping just shy on the arena border. I take a few deep breaths as I say, "I may not know what your life has been like, mine has been so different compared to yours. But that doesn't mean you get to act like you better than everyone because you hate your father." He slowly stands up, silent as I continue, "We all have bad days, or bad lives even, but that doesn't mean you get to fool around." He stays silent as he looks at the ground. I then add, "So show me what you can do, everything you've got, right now. Show me what it means to be your own hero." He flinches at my last sentence, before small flames start to appear from his left side. Then suddenly, fire erupts like a bomb with immense intensity and heat that I recoil and cover the face with my shield. I look back and my eyes widen, finally. I couldn't help but smile at the large red and orange flame before me. The ice starts to melt off him as he says, "You're insane, focusing on breaking my wall instead of truly fighting me. Why are you smiling?" I refocus on him as I watch him in confusion. He then says, "In this hopeless situation, you smile. I guess I shouldn't expect any different from you. Thank you. Midoriya, I'll show you what my being a hero looks like." A smile appears on his face as he stares me down. I smile again as I say, "All right then." I drag my right foot back as I bend my knees. "Show me what that is, Todoroki." I start to charge up my thrusters in all areas as I raise my shield. A huge ice wall is formed behind Todoroki as my thrusters burn blue. He then sends out a massive wave ice, almost as big as his attack on Zero, while I soar over it at immense speed. Todoroki raises his left hand while I tighten my grip on my shield in front of me. He releases his fire just as several walls of cement raise up between us. I boost my thrusters to burn white as both Todoroki's attack and I slam into the cement walls. The resulting force and temperature difference between Todoroki's fire and ice causes a massive explosion in which Midnight and Cementos are thrown back. I use everything I have into my thrusters to not be thrown out. I'm eventually shot to the ground and pushed back from the sheer force, but I keep my thrusters going as much as possible, all the while I keep my shield in front of me to tank and absorb the energy from the blast. Eventually, the massive force slows and stops, and I immediately deactivate my thrusters, panting. I'm inside a massive plume of dust and smoke as I gather my bearings. I look down and see I'm still in the ring, thank God. I look at my shield and see it's almost completely full. I take a deep breath. Wow, didn't think it'd be able to take it all. I then listen closely to the teachers as I wait for Todoroki's condition. I then hear Samantha say, "Power isn't everything, but these kids are insane." I smile at that comment before I hear Present Mike speak, "What the heck happened? What is with your students?" Uncle Zawa says, "The air was incredibly cooled down then rapidly expanded from the sudden heat." Present Mike replies, "What? That's what caused the explosion. How hot did that fire get?" "Geez, I can't see a thing. Who won?" I ready my shield. I guess the smoke and dust is everywhere if they can't see him either. A few moments of silence as the smoke begins to thin out a bit, then Present Mike announces, "Huh. It looks like Todoroki is still standing, but, where's Midoriya?" I grin as I prep my thrusters. "Here I come." I set them all to burn orange and fly off to the center, with my shield raised in front of me. When I finally break through the smoke, I let out a battle cry with everything I have. His eyes widen just as I slam my shield into his chest, releasing all the energy I had stored for the attack and send him out of the arena, with wind pressure spiraling into a wide area in front of me, passing through the crowd there. I look up at Todoroki and see him unconscious and the wall behind him severally cracked. The crowd erupts in cheers with some booing. Of course some take the side of Endeavor's son. Midnight cracks her whip and announces, "Shoto Todoroki is out of bounds and unable to continue, Izuku Midoriya wins." I look up and raise my right arm up into the sky with a smile on my face. I then look at Itza and nod, "You're next." He nods back. I look at Ashido and wink at her. I then walk off the arena and head to Recovery Girl's office. I might need a checkup. I equip my shield to my right arm and recall it. I then look at my arm's thrusters and see it a little red. I might have overworked it a bit. I walk through the halls for a bit and think back to the fight. I smile at how I threw Todoroki through an ice wall. That was cool. I then reach her office and open the door. "Hello, I came to get checked up after the fight." Recovery Girl looks back to me as she was checking up on Todoroki, then glares, "Young man, I could be yelling at you for hours for what you did." She then starts whacking me with her cane. Todoroki is in horrible condition. I had to heal several broken bones, cracked ribs, even a few internal bleedings. I put my arms up to stop the onslaught of whacks. "Ow ow ow, okay. I'm sorry." She stops hitting me and walks back to Todoroki and wraps up his right arm. "You should be alright by the end of the day, just don't push yourself too much, alright?" Todoroki nods, "I'll be careful." She smiles and steps aside. "Good, you can go back to your class now." Todoroki walks off the bed and goes to leave, but he stops at the door and turns around. "Thank you, Midoriya, truly." I smile and nod, then he leaves. I turn back around to face Recovery Girl just as I see her glaring at me again. I give a weak nervous chuckle. "Again, I'm sorry." She keeps her glare for a few seconds, then sighs as she looks down. "Did you come by just to check up on Todoroki?" I shake my head. "No, I also came by for some ice packs." I hold up my arm spines, showing their cherry red. "I would go to Todoroki, but he should have some rest." She nods and goes to a freezer, pulling out 5 ice packs. She walks up to me and wraps them up to my thrusters all over me. "There, keep them there for a little bit and you should be fine." I smile, "Thank you." The door suddenly slams open as Ashido yells, "Midoriya." Recover Girl and I both jump from the shock as we both look to the door, seeing All Might, Uncle Zawa and Ashido standing by the door, all looking slightly worried. Recovery Girl approaches them. "Do none of you know how to knock? You lot nearly gave me a heart attack." She starts waving her cane around while I watch them enter. All Might claps his hands together. "My apologies, we were just worried for young Midoriya." Uncle Zawa huffs as Ashido nods. "Yeah, is he okay?" Recovery Girl sighs and pinches the bridge of her nose. Yes, he's fine, he just came by for some ice packs for his thrusters." I wave, "Hey guys." Ashido runs up to me and hugs me, which makes me blush a little, as she says, "Oh thank God, you scared me. When I heard you went to Recovery Girls I thought you had gotten really hurt." I look to All Might and Uncle Zawa and see them both smirking at me. I take a deep breath and say, "Don't worry, I'm fine." Uncle Zawa crosses his arms, losing his smirk, as he asks, "You sure?" I nod, "Yeah, I'm fine. Get back to your posts, the tournament is still going." I say with a smile. Uncle Zawa rolls his eyes and walks away as All Might leaves as well, but not before turning back and saying, "Good work in that fight, you were incredible." My smile widens, thank you Altoshi Nori. He nods with a smile and leaves. Recovery girl then turns to us and says, okay, you both should head to your class as well, it'll take some time to set up the arena, and the two knuckleheads still need to do their rematch. I nod, okay, thank you recovery girl. I say with a wave before leaving with Ashido. Ashido and I walk through the halls and make our way back to our class before Ashido speaks up again, I can't believe you did that. I look at her with a raised eyebrow, huh? What did I do? He faces me, what do you think Winkmeister? I stare at her, She glares at me, I know what you did, winking at me like I wouldn't confront you. Flirting's my thing, not yours. I lean away a little bit, I didn't think she'd get this defensive about it. I look away, okay, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. She continues to watch me for a few seconds before saying, good, now, on to more pressing matter. She loosed down and holds her hands together. I look at her hands, oh no. She takes a deep breath and I say, Ashi dash. Mina. She interrupts, please, call me Mina, it's getting a little tiring having you call me by my last name, I prefer I be called by my given name. I stare at her as a blush forms on my face from the idea of me calling her by her first name, but I shake my head and compose myself and I reply, okay, then, you can call me, Izuku. She then looks at me, surprised, and says, what? I then try to explain myself, well, if I'm referring you by your given name, then there's no reason in doing the same for me, alright. She stares at me and though before replying, I guess not. She smiles, alright then, Izuku. I blush at hearing my name come out of her mouth, I'm going to have to get used to that. But I couldn't help but smile back, okay, Mina. We watch each other as we walk through the halls, but then Mina throws her arms up into the air, can we please talk about that match, it was awesome. She grins, I mean, how'd you keep dodging his attacks, that agility was insane, how do you use your thrusters like that? I chuckle, it's a little complicated, but I can explain it to you. We then proceeded to talk about my quirk and the match I had with Todoroki all the way to the class's stands. She was a lot more enthusiastic about my fight than I thought she was, even my prosthetics was a great interest to her, so we kept chatting, even when we waited for everyone to clean up the arena, it was a long talk. Chapter 17, Speed, Darkness, and Bombs. We watched as Kirishima and Tetsu left the arena after their rematch, Kirishima winning the match by a landslide, and next up was the match between Tinya Itza and the vine-haired girl, Ibara Shiozaki. Present Mike starts his announcement, alright, now back to the regularly scheduled matches, first up on one end, we have the speed demon of the 1A's hero course, Tinya Itza. Itza slowly walks up to the arena with a serious expression on his face, Mina then says, man, he's really intense, what gives? Xiaoji replies, he want to prove he deserves his place. I nod, yeah, Hatsum completely humiliated him in the last round, this is his chance to prove he deserves his place, by defeating his opponent. Preset Mike the announces said opponent, and on the other end we have the plant goddess of 1B's hero course, Ibara Shiozaki. She walks up onto the arena and gives Itza a small bow of respect to which he reciprocates. I watch as they both get into battle positions, moment of truth Itza. Present Mike then readies the countdown, okay, is everyone ready? 3. Itza gets into a runner's position as Shiozaki clasps her hands over her chest. 2. Itza straightens his legs as Shiozaki's hair elevates. 1. They stare at each other in anticipation. Begin. Itza's engines burn to life and he sprints towards Shiozaki as her hair strikes the ground, causing vines to erupt in front of her and go for Itza. Itza runs around them and grabs Shiozaki's shoulders, he then runs forward, pushing her with him until he lets her go, causing her to stop outside the border. Midnight cracks her whip, Ibara Shiozaki is out of bounds, Tinya Itza wins the match. The crowd cheers while I stare at Itza with wide eyes, whoa, I was not expecting that. Mina shakes her head, me neither. Xiaoji crosses his arms, neither did I. I then look at the tournament board and see the next match, Mina, hurry, your match is up next. Mina looks up, really, oh crap, gotta go. She then runs off. I watch her leave, good luck. I turn back to the arena and take a deep breath, you're going to need it. Xiaoji then asks, Mina. I look at him and see him staring at me with a raised eyebrow. Did you just call her Mina? I blush and look away. Maybe, she asked. Xiaoji nods, okay. And looks back to the arena. I blink and look back to him. Wait, that's it? He shrugs. What else is there to say? You explained it. No need to go any further if you ask me. I stare at him for a second before shaking my head and looking back to the arena. Yeah, I guess you're right. Itza and Shiozaka then turn and leave the arena as Cementos repairs the ground from Shiozaka's vines. Shortly after the was done, Present Mike starts his announcement. Time for the third match of the second round. Our contenders are the following: Mina Ashido from 1A's hero course, an acid user. She walks out on stage with a smile on her face, still confident I see. Present Mike then announces the other, and the other? Fumikage Tokoyami, also from 1A's hero course, with a companion quirk Dark Shadow. He walks out onto the arena with a face of focus and drive, and he's ready to hold you down. Be on guard, Mina. Present Mike then readies the countdown from 3, 2, 1. Begin. Mina skates away on her acid as Tokoyami calls out, Dark Shadow. His quirk releasing a black beast from his chest, who charges for Mina. I've got her. Mina yelps and ducks under Dark Shadow. It quickly turns around and goes after her again, to which she jumps over it with a smirk. She then lands and guns it for Tokoyami. He looks worried and readies himself, but Mina just slides between his legs and turns around to throw a punch, but Dark Shadow grabs her just in time and throws her out of the ring. She lands outside of the border and blinks, still sitting. What just happened? Midnight cracks her whip. Mina Ashido is out of bounds. Fumikage Tokoyami wins. The audience cheers as Tokoyami recalls Dark Shadow and bows before he leaves the arena. Mina yells out, wait, what? Oh, come on. Hitting the ground. I blink a few times. That was fast too. Xiaoji nods. Tokoyami is a force to be reckoned with. Kirishima nods. Yeah, no kidding, but hey. At least Mina made it to round 2 of the tournament, right? I nod. Yeah, I guess so. She starts walking away and I smile. She did good. Kirishima agrees. Yeah, she did. Smiling with me. I then look back to him. Dude, you do know your match is next, right? He looks at me. Huh. He looks up at the board and sees his match. Oh yeah. And runs off. I chuckle. Oh Kirishima, you're hilarious. Mina arrives shortly after and sits beside me. I'm here. I look to her. Hey Mina, sorry that the match didn't go your way. She shrugs. Yeah, but what can you do, right? I look back to the arena. Yeah, I guess so, but we still have one more match to watch. Kirishima vs Kiken. This will be entertaining for sure. Mina nods. Yeah, I agree. Xiaoji nods as well. Seconded. Mina adds, they're literally the closest thing we have to an unstoppable force versus an unmovable object. I hum. Yeah, I think you're right. Xiaoji then says, well, let's see who wins. Mina grins. Yeah. Present Mike then starts his announcement. Now for the last match of the second round, it's Katsuki Bakuga vs Ajiro Kirishima. A bombing expert versus a walking boulder. The two of them walk onto the arena, Kirishima with a smile on his face, and Kiken with almost no emotion, just focus. Present Mike starts the countdown. We'll begin in 3, 2, 1. Now. Kiken immediately blasts towards Kirishima while the redhead activates his quirk. Kiken lands an explosion on Kirishima, but nothing happens. While Kirishima throws a punch towards Kiken, that he dodges and blasts the other again, to which nothing happens, and Kirishima throws another punch. This time it lands as Kiken blocks by crossing his arms, sliding back from the force. Kirishima laughs as smoke leaves him, showing small holes in his uniform. That won't work on me, explosion boy. Kiken growls as Kirishima runs towards him and throws a punch. Kiken backs up and dodges. Kirishima throws another punch while Kiken backs up and dodges again. The two keep this exchange going while I watch in amazement. That's new, I haven't seen Kiken go on the defensive before. Mina looks at me. Wait, really? Never? I shake my head. Maybe not never, but it's very rare to see him on the defensive like that. I guess Kirishima's hardening makes it difficult to land a clean strike and actually deal some damage. Mina nods. Right, his hardening is taking the hit, so Kirishima doesn't get hurt. That means he'll win at this rate. I narrow my eyes. I'm not so sure. Mina looks over to me, huh, what do you mean? I nod to the fight, look. She looks back just in time to see Kikin blast Kirishima again, only this time, he's starting to feel it. Mina's eyes widened at the sight while Kikin smirks, I gotcha now, you've been straining to keep your quirk going so you're hitting a limit, meaning. Kikin blasts Kirishima again and he screams from the attack. Kikin's smirk widened, you've lost. He then goes on a barrage of explosions, not giving Kirishima any time to act, pushing him further and further, until finally reels his right hand back, and releases an intense explosion into Kirishima, knocking him unconscious. That's why you tried to avoid a drawn-out match with me. Kirishima hits the ground as Kikin stands tall, you're done. The crowd cheers for Kikin's victory, but then he looks at me with a lot of intent and conviction, so I do the same, none of us saying anything, then he scoffs and walks away. Mina tilts her head, what was that? A challenge, he wants to face me in the finals. I answer. Mina asks, Izuku. I stare at the arena, and he'll lose to me, like everyone else. Her eyes widen while I stand up and walk away to my waiting room, see you in the finals, Kikin. Chapter 18, The Semi-Finals. I'm in the tunnel entrance to the arena as I wait to be called up for my match with Itza. Kikin, you better win against Tokoyami, because I'm going to show you just what I can do when we fight. I then hear Present Mike make his announcement, are we all ready for this match? The audience cheers loudly as Present Mike continues, great, let's get started then. One of our contenders is Izuku Midoriya, a quirk like no other. I start walking out into the arena as I keep watching ahead of me. Present Mike then announces my opponent, and the other, Tenya Itza, a runner dashing through his competitors. Itza then walks out onto the arena as he watches me, we're both ready for this. Present Mike then starts the countdown, we'll begin in 3. I bend my knees as I keep my right arm ahead of me. 2. Itza gets into a running position. 1. His engines glow as I bring my arm up. Begin. Itza runs at me in haste as I watch him closely, little more. Itza pulls an arm as he gets close, so I act and make a shield, but he surprises me and jumps over me. My eyes widen as I turn around and block an incoming kick just in time, too slow. He pushes off my shield to jump to the side, I take my chance to charge at him, come on Itza, let's see who's faster. He runs at me while fly up, he acts and jumps up after me, I smirk, got yat. I then dive down away from him towards the arena border, but as I pass him, I use my grapple and catch his right leg. I start recalling my hand after I got some distance, I then throw him out of the arena as empty hand is pulled back in, throwing him into the grassy field below then slamming into the wall. He holds his head, damn. Midnight cracks her whip and calls out, Tenya Itza is out of bounds, Izuku Midoriya wins the match. I check my right hand as I hold the wrist with my other hand, the crowd cheers for my win as Present Mike yells, looks like Izuku Midoriya is headed to the finals, good work. I smile as I walk away, listening to Present Mike along the way, now let's get ready for the last match of the semi-finals, shall we? The crowd cheers in reply as Present Mike calls out, alright, let's get set up first. Walking through halls as I think to myself, sorry Itza, but I have a promise to keep. I then say to myself, Kikin, I'm waiting for you. After a bit of walking, I reach the stands where my class is and I wave, hey guys. Kirishima looks back, yo Midoriya, that was awesome, you took him down so quick, so manly. Kaminari nods, yeah man, you made it look easy. I shrug, well, I knew he would be predicting certain patterns from my last fight, so I tricked him with me flying into the sky, knowing he'd think I was planning on dive punching him. Kaminari smiles, huh, smart. I smile, I guess so. I sit down next to Mina, and she smiles at me, but I kinda agree with those two, you were amazing. I smile, thanks, but now we have Tokoyami and Kikin. Mina looks down to the arena, yeah, this is not a great setup. I nod as I look at the screen, showing the board, agreed, Tokoyama's going to have a hard time to even fight back, Kikin's the only one with reflexes fast enough to keep up with Dark Shadow, and since he's really timid with all the light, he won't do anything unless he's told to. Mina frowns a little, to which Bakugo's going to react and get out of it. I take a deep breath, with that knowledge, I can safely say that Kikin's going to win this match. Mina nods, Present Mike then speaks up, now, for the last if the semi-finals, we have our final contenders for the remaining finals positions. The mysterious companion quirk user, Fumikage Tokoyami. He begins to walk up as Present Mike announces the other, and the explosion quirk user, Katsuki Bakugu. Kiken starts to walk up as well. They get into the border of the arena and Present Mike starts to the countdown, we'll start in 3. Kiken opens his hands and brings them behind him. 2. Tokoyami bends his knees and holds his hands out to his sides. 1. Kiken's hands spark as Tokoyami narrows his eyes, the Present Mike yells, begin. Kiken then blasts forward towards as Tokoyami yells, Dark Shadow. Kiken throws a hand forward and lets out an explosion, but not before Dark Shadow comes out and takes the hit, yelling out as the attack makes contact. Kiken scoffs and blasts back and Tokoyami calls out, after him. Dark Shadow chases Kiken down, but he blasts around it and blasts Tokoyami, who yells out in pain as he's thrown back. Kiken charges him and lets out a battle cry. Tokoyami slowly gets up as Kiken yells, die, and throws another explosion, but Dark Shadow gets in the way and tanks the hit. Kiken scoffs and backs off, that thing's oh damn annoying. Tokoyami orders, stay with me Dark Shadow. And so it does, all three watching each other closely. Kiken then blasts upward into the sky, Tokoyami orders quickly, take the hit when it comes. Dark Shadow watches Kiken as he blasts down, yelling out a war cry again, Tokoyami calls out, now. Dark Shadow gets in front of Kiken to take a hit, but Kiken blasts around Dark Shadow and lets out another attack, but Dark Shadow was quick to act and take the hit again. Tokoyami yells, quick, grab him. Dark Shadow sends out a hand to grab Kiken, but he blasts behind the both of them. Tokoyami looks back as his eyes widened. Kiken puts his hands together as his palms face Tokoyami and Dark Shadow, yelling, stun grenade. He then releases a very bright explosion like a flashbang before smoke envelops the three of them. We all watch in suspense as the smoke slowly clears away. When it does, we see Tokoyami on the ground, being held by his beak as Kiken lets out small explosions near Dark Shadow, all the while Kiken keeps a sinister grin on his face. Tokoyami then asks, tell me Bakugu, did you know my weakness? Kiken replies, nah, I found out after attacking you over and over, you were at a big disadvantage, nice try, but you're done. Tokoyami rests his head on the ground as he closes his eyes, I surrender. Midnight cracks her whip, Fumikage Tokoyami forfeits, Katsuki Bakugu wins. Kiken lets him go and walks away as the crowd cheers. I take a deep breath, Kiken wins, just like I thought he would. Mina nods, yeah, but poor Tokoyami, he tried so hard but was no match for Bakugu. Kirishima adds, yeah, that guy floored him, literally. Kaminari pats his back, nice pun man. I stand up, well, I better go to my waiting room, see you in a bit. Raises a fist, good luck. Mina smiles and pumps a fist, you win this for me, got it? I nod with a smile, you bet. I walk away and head to the waiting room, the moment of truth, here we go. I arrive at my waiting room and stretch to get ready, this is going to be a big fight, for me, I guess. Kiken's fast, strong, and determined, he's going to try and put me in my place as much as possible, he won't miss any chances to belittle me, I have to be fast and smart if I am to win this fight, I have to. The door to my waiting room suddenly slams open and I snap my head to the door, seeing Kiken there. Kiken. He looks at me in both anger and confusion, freak show, the hell are you doing here, this is my dash. He looks over to the sign and sees it's not actually his, crap, this is waiting room number 2. I chuckle nervously as I take a step back, what are you doing here? He growls then starts approaching me, I may be in the wrong waiting room, but this mean I get to say a few things, now that we're alone. I watch him approach me as he raises his right hand, he then slams it down onto the table and yells, you better give me everything you've got, freak. I open my mouth to reply but he grabbed the collar of my shirt and pulls me up to his level, you've been holding all this power from me, whether you think you're better than me or because you're just starting to get the hang of it, I don't care anymore, all I care about, is that it's pissing me off that you think you have a chance at beating me, you don't. A loser like you will never be able to win against anyone with actual skill, like me, you're just some useless experiment to fail in the end, and I want to prove it to everyone. So don't you dare forfeit our match, because I want the world to know that you're not stronger than me, you're not faster than me, You're not better than me, you never will be, so lose like it. He then tosses me to the ground and starts to walk away. I hold my throat to ease the slight pain in my throat. Kakan. He stops and glances back to me. I then say, "You're so predictable." As I look back up to him, with a smile on my face. His face twitches in anger before he leaves, slamming the door behind him. I chuckle as I stand up, holding onto the table for some support. Experiment, huh? You haven't used that word in a while. Does that you're scared of me again, like all those years ago when you saw them? I stand up straight and take a deep breath. Doesn't matter now, I don't care what you say, Kakan. I will win this thing, I will beat you, I will prove I'm stronger than you, I will be the next number one. I raise my right arm and cross it over my face as it changes into something else. I will be better. Uncle Zawa then sounds in the speakers. Can Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki Bakugo please make your way to the arena? I take a deep breath and change my arm back to normal. Alright, it all starts now. And I walk out of the waiting room and head to the arena entrance. Alright, that's where we'll leave off for the day. Thanks so much for listening along with me today. If you enjoyed, please like and comment down below. It really helps the channel get seen. I look forward to seeing you next time. Ciao for now, lovelies.